The story begins with a Jewish 20-year-old young man named Simon. Simon is a cartoon artist who lives with his girlfriend Fabienne in Leven, a town in northern France. Fabienne is also a cartoon artist by profession. The two of them live far away from their families, in a world of their own. The reason for this is that Simon comes from a family of doctors. Almost everyone in his household is a doctor, and because Simon chose to be an artist, his family does not give his profession much respect. They believe that drawing cartoons is not a serious career. So to escape the constant taunts and judgment from his family, Simon and Fabienne prefer to keep their distance and live life on their own terms. Now, Simon's father, whose name is Carl, is celebrating his 65th birthday. It is a big occasion. So Simon has decided that he will attend the party and also introduce his girlfriend Fabienne to his parents for the first time. Simon and Fabienne step out of their little world and head over to the place where Simon's family lives. It has been almost 6 months since Simon last saw his father. So naturally, he is feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement as they make their way there. When they arrive at the party, the atmosphere is quite different from what they are used to. The house is packed with guests and, as expected, most of the people at the party come from a medical background. Simon meets his relatives who waste no time throwing the same old comments his way about becoming a doctor. Just then, in the middle of the party crowd, Simon's eyes land on a strikingly beautiful woman who appears to be around 48 years old. She stands out from everyone else in the room, drawing attention effortlessly. Simon does not recognize her and cannot help but wonder who she is. A little while later, he notices that this woman is chatting very comfortably with his father Carl and is even actively helping with hosting the party. His curiosity goes through the roof. He walks up to his father and asks, "Dad, who is that woman?" That is when he finds out that her name is Sonia and she is his father's new secretary. Now, Dr. Carl is a psychiatrist, but his personal life has always been colorful, to say the least. He has a long-standing pattern of starting affairs with the female patients who come to his clinic. First he treats them, then he brings them on as his secretary, and eventually he makes them his girlfriend. That has always been his playbook. What is even more surprising is that Simon's mother and the entire family are fully aware of Carl's behavior. But nobody says a word. Simon's mother, who is also a doctor herself and works right under Carl at his own clinic, knows everything and yet stays silent. She suffers quietly on the inside. But for the sake of her marriage and her standing in society, she has made peace with this bitter truth. After the party wraps up, Simon's mother pulls him aside for a private conversation. She is deeply sad and distressed. She tells him, "Son, my marriage is on the verge of falling apart." Simon is shocked and asks, "Why? What happened?" His mother then reveals that Sonia is not just a secretary. She has become Carl's new girlfriend. She tells him that Carl is planning a vacation getaway with Sonia. And if the two of them go on that trip alone together, it is only a matter of time before Sonia marries Carl and her marriage completely falls apart. Seeing his mother in such a broken state, Simon is deeply moved. He asks her, "What can I even do about this?" His mother makes one heartfelt request. She says, "I need your help. I want you to take over my responsibilities at your father's clinic for a few days. If you can manage the clinic, I will be able to join your father on that holiday trip and maybe, just maybe, I can save my marriage." Simon cannot bear to see his mother in tears. Even though he had planned to go back to Fabienne and focus on their upcoming cartoon festival, he agrees to stay behind for his mother's sake. He explains the situation to Fabienne and sends her back home alone for the time being. According to the plan, Dr. Carl has no choice but to take his wife along on the holiday instead of Sonia, and Simon and Sonia are left behind to run the clinic together. The moment Simon's parents leave for their trip, Sonia's true colors begin to show. She is furious because her plan has completely backfired. She had wanted to go on that trip with Carl, but because Simon stepped in, his mother took her spot instead. Sonia walks up to Simon and with a sharp, sarcastic edge says, "If you had not shown up and taken over your mother's work, I would be on holiday with your dad right now. Our relationship would have grown even deeper. Why did you have to come and be such a third wheel?" Simon tries to reason with her and says, "You do not know everything about my dad. This is his old pattern. He has had many girlfriends over the years and for him, none of this is a big deal. Please do not take it too seriously." Sonia pauses for a moment and thinks. Then she moves closer to Simon and says, "You do not understand our relationship. Your father and I share a very deep connection. Keep your opinions to yourself." Simon walks away feeling like Sonia is genuinely head over heels for his father and gets back to work feeling deflated. The next day while working at the clinic, Simon overhears Sonia on a phone call, crying. She is saying, "You have your own family, your kids, your wife. What do I have? I have nothing. Stop wasting my time. Simon immediately figures out that she is talking to his father, who is clearly still in touch with Sonia even while on a trip with his wife. At the clinic, Simon and Sonia had been assigned a rather dull and exhausting task. They had to listen to Dr. Carl's old video lectures and interviews and transcribe everything into text. It was the kind of work that drains you. As they work through it, Sonia becomes emotional again. She opens up to Simon about her pain and says, "Your father loves me." He says it out loud in front of people. But look at him now. He has left me here alone while he goes off and has a good time with your mother. Sonia begins to cry and shares that she wants to settle down in life. She wants a family of her own. She had believed that marrying Carl would give her all of that. Simon starts to feel genuinely sorry for Sonia. He begins to think that his father is truly treating this woman unfairly. To comfort her, he hands her a tissue and starts to console her. As she cries, Sonia reaches out for emotional support and leans into Simon, pulling him into a hug. But that hug slowly begins to turn into something else entirely. Sonia starts to feel drawn to Simon and leans in to kiss him. Simon, who until this moment had been holding himself together out of loyalty to his mother's promise and his girlfriend Fabienne, melts in that moment. He feels an undeniable pull towards Sonia as well. But he quickly catches himself and steps back. He walks outside, takes a long deep breath, and asks himself what on earth he is doing. He had come here to save his mother's marriage and keep Sonia away from his father. And here he was, getting closer to Sonia himself. He finds himself trapped in a deeply uncomfortable moral dilemma. Just then, on the same day, he meets his girlfriend Fabienne. She reminds him, "Simon, our cartoon festival is 2 weeks away. You have not prepared anything yet. You are stuck in your family drama over there while I am here handling everything alone." Simon feels the pressure piling up from every direction. On one side is the promise he made to his mother. On another is his girlfriend's career on the line. And on a third front is his growing attraction to Sonia. He is completely tangled up. The next morning, Simon arrives at the clinic and apologizes to Sonia for what happened the evening before. He says, "Sorry, what happened last night should not have happened." But Sonia waves it off with complete ease and says, "Oh, come on. What is there to apologize for? That was totally normal." Simon is stunned. He tells her, "Please do not tell my dad about any of this." Sonia smiles and replies, "I already told him that I have been spending time with someone else while he is away. I did not mention your name. I just let him know I am seeing someone so that it ruins his trip and makes him jealous." Now Simon is burning with curiosity to know more about Sonia. Since she had once been a patient at his father's clinic, Simon digs through the clinic's records and pulls out Sonia's file. The information between a doctor and a patient is completely confidential, but Simon reads it anyway. From the file, he discovers that Sonia had been suffering from depression and suicidal tendencies, and that his own father had been treating her. The next day, Sonia is searching for her file and quickly realizes Simon has it. She turns red with a mix of anger and embarrassment. She storms up to him in tears and says, "You had absolutely no right to read my personal file. I could file a case against you." She tries to snatch it out of his hands. In the tug-of-war that follows, the two of them end up getting very close to each other. Sonia's anger shifts almost instantly into something very different, and she leans in and kisses Simon. This time Simon cannot hold himself back. Both of them get swept away in a wave of emotions, and they become physically intimate. A little while later, Sonia says, "Anyone could walk in here. We should go down to the basement room." Simon opens the door to head downstairs. But just then the clinic staff walks in. Simon quickly hides behind the door. Once the staff leaves, the two of them slip down into the basement room. By now, Simon has completely fallen for Sonia. When Sonia begins to undress, Simon loses all sense of self-control. In that moment, he forgets everything. He forgets that Sonia is his father's girlfriend. And he forgets that his own girlfriend Fabienne is back home waiting for him. After this, the relationship between Sonia and Simon deepens further. In the evening, Sonia tells Simon to drop him off home, and Simon agrees to it. On the way home, Sonia invites him to come visit her at home sometime, and Simon promises he will come soon. On the same day, Simon spots Fabienne sitting inside a restaurant with another guy. She looks relaxed and happy. The seed of suspicion plants itself in Simon's mind. He walks over to her and asks, "What are you doing here, and who is this guy?" Fabienne tells him that he is a fellow artist, and that she is working on preparations for the cartoon festival since Simon has been tied up with his family matters. Simon feels a pang of jealousy, even though Fabienne reassures him that he is the only one she loves. But Simon's conscience was not clean. He was deceiving someone himself, and so his mind was telling him that maybe Fabienne was doing the same. He quietly follows her and confirms that she really is just working. Simon did not want to lose Fabienne, so he calls his mother and tells her he wants to come back home. But his mother pleads with him. "Son, please stay just a few more days. Things are going so well here. This really matters to me." Hearing his mother's voice, Simon is once again pulled back in. To relieve some stress, Simon takes Fabienne out to a nightclub. They dance, they laugh, they let loose. But behind Simon's eyes, guilt is eating him alive. He cannot hold it in any longer. He finally comes clean and confesses to Fabienne that he has been physically intimate with Sonia. Hearing this, Fabienne's heart shatters. Without saying a single word, she gets up and walks out on him. Now Simon is completely alone. Just then a message pops up from Sonia. "Tomorrow is Saturday. If you are free, come over to my place." With Fabienne now gone, Simon feels lost and heads straight to Sonia's apartment. Her flat is stunning and beautifully put together. The two of them grow closer again, share a dinner together, and spend the night. Sonia begins to dream of building a domestic life with Simon by her side. The next morning when Simon wakes up, he finds himself alone in the room because Sonia has stepped out to go to the market. Simon wanders around the apartment and notices a framed photo of his father Carl and Sonia displayed on a shelf. It dawns on him that this apartment actually belongs to his father, who gave it to Sonia to live in. Just then, standing right in front of him, is his father, Dr. Carl. He had returned early from his holiday. Seeing his own son inside his girlfriend's apartment leaves Carl completely stunned. He asks, "What are you doing here?" Simon fires back just as quickly, "What are you doing here?" Carl explains that this is his apartment, and he came to pick up a book. Then Carl drops a bombshell. He says, "Look, Simon, I know that Sonia wants a child. She got involved with me because she wants to become a mother. But what she does not know is that I had a vasectomy. I can never give her a child. I'm just having a good time with her." Just then Sonia walks back in from the market. The moment she sees Carl, she completely ignores him and walks straight up to Simon, calling him baby and hugging and kissing him right in front of Carl. She wanted to make Carl jealous because he had gone on that trip without her. Carl watches all of this and looks a little caught off guard. But he is the kind of man who is extremely practical and completely shameless. He smiles and says, "Fine, if you two are together now, I have absolutely no problem with that. I will find myself another girlfriend. Just make sure you explain to your mother that it is you with Sonia now, not me." And with that, he calmly walks out the door. Simon did not have the courage to say any of this to his mother's face. So he calls her on the phone. When his mother finds out that the very woman she had sent her son to keep away from her husband is now the same woman her son has fallen for, the ground completely shifts beneath her feet. Mother and son sit together and cry. She cries over her fate, and Simon cries over the absolute mess his life has become. The story then jumps forward a few months. We see that Sonia has now become a mother. She has given birth to a beautiful little baby. And that baby belongs to Simon because Carl could never have been the father. In the final scene, we see Sonia absolutely glowing with happiness. She has gotten everything she ever wanted. A beautiful home that belonged to Carl, a baby she had always dreamed of, and a partner like Simon by her side. But Simon's expression tells a completely different story. He stands there holding his newborn child in his arms, and instead of joy, his face is written with confusion and disbelief. Just a year ago, he was a free bird, living life on his own terms with his girlfriend, drawing cartoons, and chasing his passion. And today he is caught in the web of his own family, stuck as the boyfriend of his father's ex-girlfriend and the father of her child. He thinks to himself, how did he end up unraveling his own life while trying to fix everyone else's? The film ends with Simon lost in that same unresolved confusion. So friends, what do you think? Should Simon have stepped in to help his mother in the first place? Or should he have stayed in his own world with his girlfriend Fabienne and never got involved? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. See you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye, take care.